Hi everyone. So today in this video I am going to give you 7 days of challenge. Yes, in this 7 days you need to train your mind. Yes. Because you are never going to become fluent in English if you keep making these mistakes. If you keep translating in your head from your own mother tongue into English. Yes, you need to start thinking directly in English. Other than you are never going to become fluent in English. Well, before that, I want to discuss you that why this happened, why we translate all the time. Because English, we learn English as a second language, right? And that is why we don't have that environment where we can use this language, when we can use in our surrounding this language, right? Like, we can't use this language naturally. I think that is the only one reason that we treat this language as a subject rather than as a language, right? And that is why we take help of grammar, because grammar help us to write, to speak, even to translate it properly in a correct form. So I will say initially we need grammar. Initially we need translation method. We can't learn English without translation. So it's good when we are totally beginner. But when you rest in beginner level, after that you need to stop this. Yes, if you will not stop, then you are not going to become fluent. So you need to stop this and according to that start thinking directly in English. Okay. And one more thing I want to discuss, that why it's bad thing, why translation can't help us to reach in fluency. Just because when we follow this translation method to learn any new language, then it is time consuming. Yes, first one, it is time consuming. Second, it's inaccurate. Yes, so how it is time consuming, I'm the one of biggest example of that. Because I took 3 years to learn this language. And to be honest, I started learning this language by translation, but I didn't stop it. I just keep continue to translate. Whenever it comes to speak this language and use this language, I start to translate in my mind. And maybe that was the reason it took that much time. But one more reason, that was consistency, that I was totally not consistent to learn this language. That is why it took me 3 years to learn this language. Okay, but translation is also one of the reason. Second, why it's inaccurate, because when we translate from our own mother tongue into English, the meaning and the sense is totally different when it comes to English, right? Suppose my language is Hindi, and when I translate Hindi into English, off and on it's become inaccurate, because sometimes the sense is not similar, right? It's totally different. That is why translation method is somehow not helping us to learn a language fast. Yes. So that is why at the moment, as soon as you will reach in your beginner level, then you need to stop this and you need to start thinking directly in English. Okay. Now let's discuss about that 7 days of challenge. How you can train your mind. For that, I have two methods that you can follow. Okay. So the first one is that you have to try to train. Suppose you wake up, okay? This is the first day of 7 day that you wake up and your mind become in automatic thought mode, right? The thought as has active. It started processing. At that time, you have to remind your mind that I have a challenge. I need to think in English. Whatever I'm thinking, I need to think in English. Okay? So in the morning, as you wake up, there might be something is going on in your mind. Just try to think in English, okay? Then it's obvious that you will forget. After some time, after just, I could say within a minute, you could be forget that you have to think in English. You will totally forget. Then again, you have to remind yourself. So the first day, hardly you will be able to remind yourself 2 to 3 times only. Okay? It's true. You have to accept it. Then in the second day, again you have to repeat that. Okay? Like when the thought will start running in your mind, just remind that you need to think in English. And in this way, if you will follow it for 7 days, you will see automatically you started thinking in English. And you will not find any hesitation to speak English. You will even not get stuck. And you will get the result. I'm pretty sure you will get the result that how easily you are able to utter English. Yes, this is the first method. In this method, all you need, that is, you need to force yourself, you need to train your mind. Only then it gonna happen. Otherwise it won't. You will remind yourself just 2 to 3 days, then you will just totally forget, and again everything will be normal. You will be similar like before. You will be like think with your own mother tongue, because we are trained to be in our comfort zone. And when we think in our own mother tongue, it's like we are in our comfort zone. Okay, when we are trying to learn something and we are just going out from our comfort zone, then it's a kind of irritation, it's a kind of hesitation. You will not feel, you will feel like, what the hell I'm doing, what a stupid method, I don't want to do this. You will feel like that, because I felt it was very bad experience when I started to follow this method. I was like, why I'm this much crazy. So you don't, like, it's natural, the thought will come, this kind of negative thought, but you have to convince your thought that, see, this is the skill and I gonna overcome this skill. For that, I have to do all the thing whatever will help me. So it gonna help you. Therefore, you need to work on it. Okay. So it was the first, that you need to force, you need to train your mind. Second portion is very natural. Okay. That is happening to me these days, because in second method you have to immerse yourself towards English. That you have to need to make phone calls to practice the language 2 to 3 times. And you have to read, you have to learn, you have to like totally immerse yourself in the environment where you are all the time listening in English, all the time reading in English, speaking in English. Yes. Then automatically after just 1 week, if you don't want, still you start thinking in English. Yes. So this is happening with me these days, just because I'm totally into the language. Like, I do have practice every day in daily basis. So you know what is happening these days with me? Like, I don't want to think in English, but like, whenever I think something, I just notice why I'm thinking in English. I don't need to think in English. I'm not a foreigner. I have my own mother tongue and I have to think with my own mother tongue. So I feel like that why these days I'm thinking in English. So can you see that? When you will immerse yourself totally into English, then ultimately this gonna happen into you. So this is the natural process. Second one is totally natural. All you need to do, that is, you have to immerse yourself. Now it's totally up to you which method you gonna follow, first or second one. Okay. So initially you need to follow, I think, first one, because when I was a beginner I used to follow that first one, because to immerse ourselves totally into English, it's a bit difficult. We can't, if you have time, if you have enough time, then you can immerse yourself totally. You don't need to force yourself to think in English. But if you don't have that much time, then you can follow this first one method, that is just force, remind your mind all the time to think in English, and automatically you will see that your mother tongue is gonna be and your English that you are thinking in English, it's gonna be high. And that will help you, literally, that will help you to speak this language naturally, even without any hesitation. Okay, so that's all that I wanted to share in this video. And I want to share one more thing, that if you are also struggling to manage your time as a student, because I have that experience that I used to be a student, even now I'm a student, and it's very tough. It's literally brain surgery to manage these all things together, because especially for women, especially for girls, we have responsibility at our home as well. We have to do household chores, along with we have to study, and we are working in this extra skill to learn this language. So I want to share you something that will help you to manage these all chaos if you have in your life. Okay, that to manage the time, then one thing you can follow, that is just fix that in the daytime what you're gonna do and in the nighttime what you're gonna do. Okay, like don't mix it, don't make it a mixture that in the morning I will do that, in the noon I will do that. No, just fix it clear that in the daytime I have household chores, I have college, I have to go out, whatever, along with I have to learn English. Okay, I have to manage 2 to 3 hours to give time to learn English. But at the night time I have to focus on my studies, because studies are very important. We can't avoid it, because we need to secure our future, right? And that's totally depend on our studies. So it's very important to study, to grab knowledge. That is why night time is the best time to grabbing knowledge and to learn something. So I will suggest you at the night time you can give your precious time to something that is very precious, to something that is major, that is your major. Okay, and in the daytime, as you know, that it's highly distracted time, so you can give time to learn English, because there is nothing special, just you have to listen and you have to speak. So in this way you can manage your time. Okay, well, this is all that I wanted to share today in this video. And yes, I will catch you in next video. Till then, you have to take care of yourself, and don't forget that you need to sort your all negative thoughts and live your life like you are the king. Okay, bye bye.